Hi friends, myself Subrata Mukherjee and you are watching my channel Dr. Subrata Mukherjee Distance Learning in Commerce. Today I am going to discuss another problem on consignment and this is lecture 9 on consignment account. You can find the other lectures on the chapter consignment in the playlist section of the channel. Ramesh consigned 2000 metric ton of chemicals at a cost of rupees 800 per metric ton to John. Ramesh paid freight and insurance charges of rupees 20,000. Of the above, 500 metric tons of chemicals were destroyed by fire during transit. John cleared the balance of 1,500 metric ton of chemicals and sold 1,000 metric ton at an average price of 1,000 per metric ton. John incurred the following expenses: godown rent rupees 5,000, insurance rupees 3,000 and clearing charges rupees 4,500. Insurance claim received against fire rupees 4 lakh after admitting the salvage value of stock destroyed by fire at rupees 10,000. John was entitled to a commission of 10% on sale proceeds. John sends the balance to Ramesh after adjusting his commission and expenses out of the sale proceeds. Prepare a consignment account and John's account in the books of Ramesh. So here I have prepared the structure of the consignment account in the books of Ramesh. So Ramesh sent 2000 metric ton at rupees 800 per ton. So I have to write here on the debit side to goods sent on consignment. So on debit side I have written to goods sent on consignment account 2000 metric ton, multiply this with rupees 800 per ton. So the total value of goods sent is rupees 16 lakh. Now Ramesh incurred for freight and insurance rupees 20,000. So I have to write here consignment account debit to bank account and the amount spent for freight and insurance, and the amount is for rupees 20,000. Now it is said that during transit 500 metric ton of goods was destroyed. So we have to value what is the value of goods destroyed during transit. So I have to do a small working for this. Here I am writing working note number 1. Valuation of goods destroyed during transit. So cost of chemical lost in transit. So 500 metric ton, multiply this with rupees 800 per ton. So the cost price is rupees 4 lakh. At proportionate expense of consignor, that is the proportionate expense of Ramesh. Proportionate expense of Ramesh, who is the consignor. So he incurred 20,000 for freight and insurance for 200 metric ton of chemical and 500 metric ton got destroyed. So the proportionate expense of Ramesh that is to be added to the cost is rupees 5,000. So 4 lakh 5,000. Now from this figure we have to deduct the value of salvage, which was the stock which was saved from the loss. So 3,95,000 is the cost of goods which was lost due to fire. Therefore, we can write here abnormal loss during transit is for 3,95,000. And insurance company paid for rupees 4 lakh. So 5,000 rupees, this amount will get credited to profit and loss account. So credit to profit and loss account for rupees 5,000. So let me again explain. So cost of chemical that was lost during transit is for rupees 4 lakh. There is 500 metric ton. Multiply this with rupees 800 per ton is 4 lakh. We have added the proportionate expense of Ramesh, who is the consignor. He's paid 20,000 for 2,000 metric ton of chemical, and for 500 metric ton of chemical he has to incur rupees 5,000 less the amount of salvage, that is the amount of chemical which was saved during fire, for rupees 10,000. So abnormal loss during transit is for rupees 3,95,000. Insurance company paid 4 lakh, and the 5,000 will get credited to profit and loss account. So in consignment account, I have to write here by abnormal loss 3,95,000. So from the working. So this is working note number 1. Then consignee Mr. John sold 1,000 metric ton at rate of 1,000 per ton. So 10 lakh rupees was the sale value that was made by John. So I have credited in the consignment account, and I have written John by John account. So John account debit to consignment account for rupees 10 lakh. Now Mr. John incurred the following expenses, and he is also entitled to a commission of 10% of the sale proceed. So on the debit side, I have to write to John account. So the first amount is for go down rent. So Mr. John incurred a go down rent for rupees 5,000. Next, he paid insurance charge for rupees 3,000. He cleared the goods. So I have to write a clearing charge rupees 4,500, and Mr. John is entitled to a commission of 10%. So he is entitled to a commission of rupees 1 lakh, and he is going to retain this figure, this amount of 1,12,500 from the sale proceed. So balance figure will be remitted by Mr. John to Ramesh. Now we have to find out the value of closing stock. So I have written here by closing stock. So for this I have to do another small working as working note number 2 here. That is valuation of closing stock. So 2,000 metric ton of chemical was sent for on consignment. Out of that, 500 metric ton got destroyed during transit, and 1,000 metric ton was sold by the consignee. So closing stock was for 500 metric ton. So what is the cost of 500 metric ton? This is 500 multiply with 800 per metric ton. So you will get a cost of 4 lakh. We have to add the proportionate expense of consignor. So rupees 20,000 was spent for 200 metric ton. So proportionate expense which was incurred for 500 metric ton is 5,000 rupees. To this figure we have to add non-recurring proportionate expense of consignee. that is John. So what are the three expenses made by John? I have just written go down rent. So this is recurring in nature. Insurance, this is also recurring in nature. So only non-recurring expense is the clearing charge. So proportionate non-recurring expense of consignee means we have to do a small working, that is rupees 4,500 is the clearing charge that was paid for 1,500 metric ton. Because out of this 2,000 metric ton, 500 metric ton got destroyed during transit. So the consignee actually cleared 1,500 metric ton of goods or chemical. So what is the proportionate expense for 500 metric ton? So this is 1,500. So non-recurring proportionate expense of consignee is rupees 1,500. So the sum total of this three figure is 4,06,500. With this figure, we have to add the amount of salvage. So in working note number 1, I have shown you the amount of salvage is for 10,000 rupees. So this will be added with the closing stock. So the first figure is 4 lakh, which is the cost of 500 metric ton, which was lying with the consignee. That will be valued at cost, that is 500 metric ton will be multiplied with rupees 800 per ton. So total cost for 500 metric ton is 4 lakh rupees. With this, I have added the proportionate expense of consignor, that is 5,000. Then non-recurring proportionate expense of consignee, which is 1,500. So sum total of this three figure is 4,06,500, and with this I have added the value of the salvage, which is 10,000. So the value of closing stock, so closing stock will be valued at 4,16,500. So closing stock I have to write in the consignment account, and this will be valued at 4,16,500. This is written in working note number 2. Now I have to calculate what is the amount of profit. So you will get a balancing figure, and the figure will be transferred to profit and loss account. And the amount of a profit on consignment is 79,000. This is the balancing figure. And the sum total of debit and credit side is 18,11,500. 18,11,500. So this is all about your consignment account. You can see on the debit side I have written to goods sent on consignment rupees 16 lakh. Then there was an abnormal loss of 3,95,000. I have shown in working note number 1 how I arrived at this figure of 3,95,000. On the right side you can see the cost of chemical loss during transit is 4 lakh. 500 metric ton multiply with 800 per ton, you will get a figure of 4 lakh. And with this I have to add the proportionate expense incurred by the consignor for rupees 5,000. And from this figure I have reduced the amount of salvage. So abnormal loss during transit is for rupees 3,95,000. And insurance claim admitted was for rupees 4 lakh. So 5,000 will be credited to profit and loss account. Then I have written the amount that was spent by John. So I have to write a consignment account debit to John account. And the amount spent towards go down rent for rupees 5,000, for insurance 3,000, and clearing charges 4,500. And John was entitled to a commission of 10% on the sale proceed. So total amount of 1,12,500 will be retained by John from the amount of sale proceed of rupees 10 lakh. Then I have valued the amount of closing stock, that is 4,16,500. I have shown in working note number 2. And the balancing figure of 79,000 is the amount of profit on consignment. Now we have to prepare the other two ledger, that is the abnormal loss account and the John account. So in abnormal loss account, I have to write abnormal loss account. So on the debit side, I am writing to consignment account, and the amount which was credited in consignment account was for 3,95,000, and amount which was admitted by insurance company and paid. So I have to write here by bank account. So it is bank account debit to abnormal loss, and this is for insurance claim for rupees 4 lakh. So abnormal loss account debit to profit and loss account for rupees 5,000. So 4 lakh is the sum total of debit and credit side. And the last ledger that I have to prepare is John account. So on debit side, I have to write to consignment account. That is the amount of sale proceed for rupees 10 lakh. In consignment account, you will find this figure on the credit side as by John. So by John account debit to consignment account. This is the journal entry that I have passed. So in John ledger, you have to debit 10 lakh, and I have written to consignment account 10 lakh. And the amount which was retained by John was for rupees 1,12,500. So I have to write here as consignment account debit to John account. This is 1,12,500. And the balancing figure was remitted by John to Ramesh, and the figure is, this is the balancing figure. This is 8,87,500. So sum total of debit and credit side is for rupees 10 lakh. So I hope all the students have recorded the question with the solution and have tried to follow the way I have solved the problem here. In spite of this, if you find any difficulty understanding, feel free to communicate with me through email and the contact number given in the description box. Thank you. Thanks for watching the lecture.